What's up, guys? It's Sean with the Sports Fury. So today was not all about Ezekiel Elliott. That's not the only news that broke. Guys, there was a 3-team trade today, and I'm actually kind of excited to have something else to talk about. I don't want to just talk about Ezekiel Elliott. I don't want to just think about Ezekiel Elliott, or I'd probably drink my life away. Well, I'm still drinking, but, you know, that's a different story. But anyways, I need another beer, actually, but I'll go get that after this video. So, 3-team trade between the Buffalo Bills, Philadelphia Eagles, and LA Rams, okay? And it was 3-team trades in the NFL don't happen that often, guys. I can't even remember the last time one happened. But let me kind of go over who got what and all that, and then we'll jump into the details and why and, you know, who won and all that. So let's start with the Buffalo Bills. They got Jordan Matthews, EJ Gaines, which is a cornerback. They got the Rams 2018 second-round pick. And an Philadelphia Eagles 2018 third-round pick. Okay? Now, Philadelphia Eagles, they got Ronald Darby, cornerback from the Bills. LA Rams, they got Sammy Watkins. Wow. And they got also Bills 2018 sixth-round pick. Now, let's kind of start with the Buffalo Bills. Let's start from the very beginning here. So, what does this mean for them? This pretty much means they're rebuilding. They're hitting that reset button. Which kind of makes sense because they did just fire their GM right after the draft, and they hired a new one. And typically when a new GM comes in, they're trying to make a splash. They're trying to put their own footprint on the team, build their own team around what they like to do and what their philosophy is, right? So this kind of makes sense because they got a second-round pick and a third-round pick. And they also got Jordan Matthews and EJ Gaines. Now, Jordan Matthews obviously not going to be on the same level as Sammy Watkins on talent-wise. He could still be a good slot receiver, but you gave up Sammy Watkins, man. Which I don't think he was going to come back either way. They didn't even pick up his last option, his option for his rookie contract. So Sammy Watkins is probably going to be gone anyway. So I guess it kind of makes sense. Rebuild, get some draft picks, and build around the team. Now, what this also means for the Bills is that Tyrod Taylor is pretty much gone. Like, this is his last year. There's already talks about them might not even be wanting to keep him, not sold on him. This pretty much solidifies. They pretty much set him up for failure. You trade off his number one receiver, he's going to have a bad year. Now I think the Bills just hope they're going to lose now so they could get a high draft pick. I feel bad for LaShawn McCoy too because LaShawn McCoy, he's their best player. And now the box is going to be stacked against him. You don't have Sammy Watkins on the outside to take that safety out of the box? Oh, God, that sucks. So that impacts fantasy-wise, right? Sammy Watkins, obviously his fantasy stock drops, and so does LaShawn McCoy with the box being stacked. LaShawn McCoy still was going to get good points because he's still a great talent. He can make people miss. So he's still going to be drafted, but maybe not first round, maybe second round. We'll see. But anyways, let's move on to the Eagles, though, okay? The Eagles got their cornerback. They were shopping around either Nelson Aguilar or Jordan Matthews for a corner. They needed a corner badly. I know they did draft Sidney Jones this past draft, which I think is going to be one of the best corners out of this year's draft. I loved him. But he tore his Achilles in his pro day. So literally a month or two before the draft. So that sucks, right? But they took a chance. Obviously, he's going to be good for future. But they needed an immediate impact, right? And they got Ronald Darby, who's a good corner. So this pretty much solidifies that need for them. Their defense got even better, which sucks for me as a Cowboy fan, right? Because they already have probably one of the best D-line in Fletcher Cox. Also, they got Derek Barnett in the draft, which I think is one of the best rushers coming out of the draft. So this defense is scary to me. And I already said before in past videos that I think the Eagles were the only team that can unseat the Cowboys for the NFC East title. And I think now this kind of puts them in the front-running seat now. I think they're the front-runners of the division, especially with Ezekiel Elliott's suspension. Even though, obviously, he's going to appeal the process and go through that and see if it could get reduced. We'll see. But I think this pretty much puts them in the lead for the division, ahead of the Giants. The Giants don't have a good offensive line. Eagles actually have a pretty decent one, and their defense is solid now. Now let's get to the Rams, though. The Rams got Sammy Watkins in a 6th-round pick. So pretty much just Sammy Watkins, right? Sammy Watkins, man, it's a kind of a loan, right? Because is Sammy Watkins really going to stay with the Rams? You think he's going to stay with Jared Goff? I don't think so. I think he's going to play there the rest of this year and then sign somewhere else. Now, I know people are questioning why would they trade for Sammy Watkins if he's only got a year left. Unless they can re-sign him, I don't know if they will or not. It just depends on how well he gets along with Todd Gurley and that overall offense. It's a new offense, right? They got a new head coach there, so it's going to be a totally different environment. So we'll have to see on that. But I think what this does do for the LA Rams is this allows them to get some evaluation of Jared Goff. Because I don't think they've really had a true number one threat at receiver. Let's get real here. Tavon Austin, no, he's not a number one receiver. He's not going to be lining up on the outside and demanding a safety over the top because Sammy Watkins can fucking take it to the house. He could burn the corner. So now that means that actually helps out Todd Gurley's stock a little bit in fantasy. They can't always have all the safeties creeping up. They have to keep an eye out on Sammy Watkins. But it's going to allow them to evaluate Jared Goff to see if he's going to be their quarterback of the future. Obviously, he didn't look like it last year, right? He looked like shit. I'm not sold on him. He could be a bust. But give him something to see if he can do something with it, right? Give him a number one receiver and see what he does. This allows them to evaluate him. So I kind of like it. I understand what they're doing. It's just shocking to me because you don't usually see a lot of 3-team trades. So this is really a big deal for me. I felt like, possibly the Bills and the Eagles probably could have gotten this trade done either way, but I think the Buffalo Bills wanted to maximize as much as they could to get as much, future assets as possible, as, for example, the draft picks. So I kind of like it for the Buffalo Bills, long-term wise. Now, I think the Eagles obviously benefit immediately, right? Ronald Darby's going to come in there, he's going to play, he's going to do good, especially in that defense. With that D-line, D-lines help out the secondary helps out the defense, D-line. So I think Eagles, by far, obviously front runners for the NFC East. It sucks, especially with Zeke Elliott being suspended. But either way, I kind of like it for the Bills and Eagles. The Rams, I understand. But, we'll have to see. We'll have to see how the season goes. We'll see if Jordan Matthews can get it together this year. Maybe he'll get all the looks that Sammy Watkins is going to get. Maybe his stock rises. Maybe. But obviously Sammy Watkins, I'm not sure if he's going to be fantasy relevant this year. So I'm not going to even look at him maybe late rounds in fantasy. But, we'll see. We'll have to see. But, yeah, tell me what you think, guys. Did y'all like this trade? Do you think it was a good trade? Who won? Bills, Eagles, Rams? Let me know down in the comment section down below. Also, if you haven't done so already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and go follow us on Twitter and Instagram. The Sports Fury. Go check us out. All right, guys. Later.